Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Leicester Politics Society online interview series. So this evening, we are joined by the youngest member of the Polish Parliament, Aleksandra Kot. So obviously, people would ask us like why you're deciding to do Poland today. So, it's like a no-brainer because it's one of the oldest democracies in the world. It's having a very rapid, fast-growing population, good stats in terms of the economy, and also a strong diaspora in the UK. So pleased to have you on the show today.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm honored to speak to you and to be able to talk to you and answer your questions.
So beginning with the first question, Ola, I think it's a very basic one. We just want to know your motivation. So what made you decide to enter politics at such a young age?
So when I was around 17, I was looking for an organization or a party to join because I was always interested in politics. My parents always watched the news. They discussed politics. They were not in politics. That's not their job. But they always discussed it, and it was a very normal thing for me to be at least interested in politics. But I also felt like I want to join a group. I don't want to just read about it. I want to do something. And at the time when I was 17 in Poland, there were protests outside of judiciary courts because the government at the time was planning a big judiciary system reform, and people were simply afraid that the former government would want to take over the judiciary system, and they would want to control judges. So I joined one of those protests, and I felt like this is something I want to do. I want to be a part of a movement of something, and I don't want to just stand and observe. I want to be on the right side of history, however cliche that sounds. And I was just looking at the parties that felt that their values aligned with my values. So I joined the Nowoczesna party and the youth branch of Nowoczesna. Nowoczesna is modern in Poland. At the time, it was one of the third most popular party, and they were mostly liberal. They were focusing on economic liberties, but also human rights, women's rights, LGBTQ rights were important to them, or still are. And now we are in the coalition with the Civic Platform Party, which is the one of the biggest parties now in Poland and now currently in government. So to put it simply, I was just looking for a movement to join. I wasn't thinking of a career in politics. I was at the time I was only 17, and I maybe a little bit, but I would never admit it publicly, but because I felt like politicians are just people who are born to be politicians, and I felt like that wasn't something that I would want to do because I was, not the most confident or, not the best public speaker. So I quickly learned that those are things that you can just simply learn or get better at. But it took me, I think, a few years to get comfortable with the idea that I would want to run in elections. So when I was actually at the university at the end of my studies, I was just seriously considering running because I felt like now, I've been active within my party, within the youth branch of the party, and I felt like I've done a lot there. But also, it's very clear that if you want to make a difference, if you truly want to represent young people, if you want to, be a part of any change that has to do with, for example, women's rights or LGBTQ rights, you have to run in elections. You have to be in office. There's no other way to do that, in my opinion, in a successful way. So that's why I wanted to run first in the regional elections and then in the parliamentary elections. And actually, the parliamentary elections in Poland happened first, and then I was not elected, but back then. However, I did my the amount of votes I got was quite surprising because I think young people were looking for someone young to represent them. I don't have the data to back it up because those are not data that are collected, but I do think that's what happened because at the parliamentary elections in 2023, the voter turnout of young people was really, really high. So I do think that they wanted, and that's what the young people on the streets were telling me, that they do want something young because they're tired of seeing politicians who are much older, and they feel like they don't represent them, young people. And of course, experience in politics is really important. So I'm not trying to say that older people should not be in politics. Obviously, that's very important that we represent every age group. However, I do think that young people are kind of unrepresented in politics. And then I was elected in the regional elections. However, parliamentary, then the elections to the European Parliament happened, and because the member of a Polish parliament got elected, I replaced that person in the Polish parliament. So I was not elected at first, but I still ended up in the parliament, which I'm obviously very lucky, and I'm hopeful to represent the interest I hope to be, representing young people and work for their best interest. So I'm from Kraków, which is the second biggest city in Poland. So those issues that people in Kraków struggle with, they are similar to many other cities in Poland. I don't think there are obviously some regional issues, but I think the main ones that are most important issues are probably high cost of living, but also expensive apartments. So the housing issue that we struggle with in Poland right now, but also during the campaign, the parliamentary campaign, I remember a lot of people were expressing how important it is for them that Poland will restore the rule of law. Right now, I think we tackled a little bit the high costs of living, because the inflation is quite low in Poland right now. When it comes to the expensive apartments and the fact that it's really difficult for young people to buy an apartment right now, it's something that is out of reach for them. It is a kind of a more difficult case because the mortgages in Poland are expensive, or because of the high interest rates, and the interest rates are decided by the National Bank of Poland. So it is something that we cannot really fix in the parliament. However, I do hope that this will build the National Bank of Poland will decrease the interest rates, and that would make that getting a mortgage will be more available for young people, for example. However, I do think that we still have a lot to do with the judiciary system. I do currently work in the judiciary committee. I am a lawyer, so this is something that I've been interested in. I also work in the codification committee, so those are two committees that work on bills and laws that are very important to the judiciary system as a whole. And we do hope that the change in the president's office will also help us to restore the rule of law, and especially restore institutions such as Constitutional Tribunal in Poland. It's a bit too difficult to go in depth it's a bit too difficult to explain the whole thing with the rule of law in Poland. So I will not do that. But right now, because I do think, and that's a problem in itself, that a lot of people the rule of law in Poland has become too difficult for them to understand. However, there are still bills that we have to pass in the Polish Parliament, and we're working on that in the Judiciary Committee. But also, I do want to represent young people, so I am a part of the parliamentary youth team, I guess you could translate it. So this is a group of members of parliament who work with young people on issues that young people find most challenging, most important to them. So that the parliamentary team has an advisory board, and the advisory board consists only of young people. So we hear them and we invite them to parliament so they could express their needs and express what really bothers them. And a lot of them do bring up the housing situation. So it is something that we do have to keep in mind. Yeah, so I think that's mostly what people are expressing right now in this parliament, the presidential elections.
As a young individual yourself, what sort of advice would you give to students across the world planning to enter politics, or maybe stand as an MP?
I think to take on challenges that feel or seem too difficult. I think you can't wait until you feel ready, because you may never feel ready. And I think it's really important to also just believe in yourself and believe that you can raise to the occasion and you can learn some things on the job. It doesn't mean that you should go try opportunities that you are totally unqualified for, but I do think that sometimes we just judge ourselves a bit too harshly. And I think a lot of young people have imposter syndrome, and I think it's really difficult to join politics or join a political party when it consists from people much older than you, and sometimes you are treated like a little kid, and I've been treated like a little kid on many occasions, but I also been supported and by many people as well who are older than me. So it does not have to be a role that you will be treated badly, and I think even if you are, it doesn't mean that you should give it up. And I think if you have that's something that drives you, if you have a reason why you want to run, if you want to represent someone, then you should do it. And I think it's also really important to create a community, to always be grateful for any help you get, to work in a team. I think the reason why I also was successful in the elections was because I've created or I bonded with my community, with the youth branch, and I treated them as friends, and they wanted to help me because they believed in me, basically. And I think it's really important to always, I think politics is a team. You have to be a team player in politics, because you cannot be like an island, because people see that. It's really clear. Even in parliament right now, we can name those members of parliament, or think of those members of parliament who only, in Poland we say, play on themselves. So they only focus on themselves. And I think if you truly think of your party or your community as a team, then you'll succeed.
So what's your favorite place to visit in Poland?
I think Kraków, although I live there, so I don't think it's a proper answer. But my home city is actually Rzeszów. It's a smaller city, also in the south of Poland.
What's a secret hobby or talent that you wish you had?
I wish I could sing. I don't sing horribly, but I wish I could do better. Even if I could just, flex it on the karaoke nights, I still wish I could sing.
Your favorite person in the Polish parliament?
Oh, well, I don't know if I could name just one. But I think the Adam Szłapka, the Minister of European Union Affairs, because I've known he was the first politician I've ever met. So I think him.
What's a food item that you cannot live without?
What's a fruit? I'm sorry.
What's a food item that you cannot live without?
Food.
Yeah.
I think salmon. I really like salmon or tuna as well. I like fish.
What's your favorite TV show or movie?
I like Modern Family a lot, but I also like movies. I would say Silence of the Lambs. I think that's a classic. Or Gone Girl. Those are like classics. I rewatch a lot.
Just for the Modern Family fans, is there a special character that you like within the show?
Oh, I don't know. I think I like Claire the most. I think she's a very complex character, and she's like a hardworking businesswoman and a good mom as well.
If you could swap jobs with any politician, who would it be?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe for like a day, I could just to see what it's like to be a prime minister. I would not want that job right now because I think it's a really big responsibility and really difficult. But I do wanna. I would like to see just for a one day what it's like to be a prime minister of a country.
So would it just be your country or like any other country in the world?
Uh, I think I would be most interested to find out what it's like to be a prime minister in Poland because it's what I know best.
What's a language that you want to learn in the future?
I think German. I think it's a useful language to know, and a lot of people in Poland actually do speak it. But I learned Spanish in high school and middle school, so I don't speak German.
I'd want to personally learn Polish, but then every time I ask that to my Polish friends, they say it's going to be really tough for you. Don't try it
Yeah,
unless you know
and
any
and I think
lavish languages.
yeah, and a bit too. I don't want to say useless because it sounds wrong, but I think you will be only limited to Poland. I think, but if learning is your passion, then by all means you should learn Polish.
Who's your favorite fashion icon?
Oh, I don't know if I have one. I'm not that
It could
into
be it
like
could be
fashion.
just someone that you look up to, maybe just in terms of dress or
I
style.
think when it comes to like political work, I think Kamala Harris had, especially during the last presidential campaign, she had great suits and really, really great clothes on her always.
And just the last question from the segment, what's your favorite song in your playlist?
Uh, right now, it would be Fortnite by Taylor Swift and Post Malone. I'm a big Taylor Swift fan.
That was probably the end of the interview so far, short and sweet, just saving up on your time as well, because you've had a pretty long day so far.
Good, I'm glad. Thank you so much for the invitation. And if you have any other questions to me or would like me to answer any more questions, then I'm obviously happy to do it. Thank you. Hope it will be interesting for your colleagues.